a new equitable global financing architecture. When you look at the current global financial system, it continues to reproduce inequalities in terms of where the poorer countries are paying more in interest than the rich countries. African nations can also secure loans based on their power to pay back these loans. I think a new financial global architecture, actually considering Africa's economic situation, will go a long way. There's also the need for job creation. If you look at Africa, more than 70% of the population under the age of 30. Local governments, they need partnership through international support to strengthen domestic resource mobilization. I'm glad Ambassador Gatete had actually talked more about this in terms of diversifying revenue collection and also streamlining taxes in order to boost domestic resource mobilization. When you talk about renewable energy, Africa is very rich in renewable energy sources, but we have just not given enough attention, to this sector. So how can we industrialize? How can we power plants? How can we power farms? How can we take on modern sustainable agriculture without power? And we also have to look at ways. Last year, $45.6 billion went to Africa as remittances. How can we redirect these remittances in order to finance costly and long-term infrastructure projects? Diaspora bonds too, in some countries has worked, like in Kenya. We need to encourage diaspora bonds so African diaspora can actually contribute to the development trajectory of their countries. Of course, we all talk about the SDGs, but until Africa localizes the SDG in terms of prioritizing the key areas of the SDGs, the African Development Bank, I think, has done a very good job when they talk about the high five. Feed Africa, Light Up and Power Africa, Integrate Africa, Industrialize Africa. We also talk, Professor Dikumana made a very good point about illicit financial flows. But I also think there need to be a global, national, and multinational enforcement body to repatriate stolen monies from Africa. And the countries where these monies are being repatriated to should be given a 5-year moratorium by the IMF and the World Bank before they can get access to new loans and credit from the IMF and the World Bank. And lastly, an equitable attention to conflict resolution is key to Africa's development. When we look at the recent intervention by the international community on the war in Ukraine, it suggests that international interest is actually hampering the development efforts in Africa. There have been wars in Cameroon, going on for over 5 years, in Ethiopia, in Mali, in Burkina Faso, which has not been given that attention. So the attention in Ukraine suggests until all member states in the UN are actually given the same attention, Africa's development will always loom behind. And finally, Ali Mazrui defined development as modernization minus dependency. Africa has to be dependent in every aspect in order for us to achieve the development that we seek to achieve. Thank you, Madam Moderator.
Thank you very much for that, and we shall